David Huff will square off against Adam Kennedy, who stands in to start it for the Oakland A's. Kennedy batting .286 on the year. Takes the first pitch down low for ball one. Kennedy, who's having a good season for Oakland, but against left-handed pitching, he has really struggled. Batting just .172 on the year. That's the second lowest average against left-handed pitching in the American League.
Well, offensively as a team, Oakland last in the league as far as batting average goes. They are 14th. They're 12th in runs. They've scored 325 as a team, and that's been their problem. They have a tough time scoring runs.
Kennedy slices one down the left field line, and it's fair inside the line. No? Yep, fan reached out and grabbed it, so he will stop at second base. And that'll give us a chance to check out Bob Guerin's starting nine for Oakland. Orlando Cabrera following Kennedy on a 14-game hit streak. Then Matt Holliday, Giambi, Suzuki, and Garciaparra in the middle. Cust, Sweeney, and Crosby rounded out.
David Huff making his 10th start this year. Never faced Oakland before. This is the very first for him. Coming off a start against Cincinnati. He went 5 innings, gave up 9 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned. So 2 starts ago was the great one in Pittsburgh.
Cabrera goes after the first pitch, bounces it to second. Valbuena will throw him out. 1 away. Advancing to third is Adam Kennedy.
Let's take a look at the Indians defense, brought to you by the Indians Team Shop at Great Northern Mall in North Olmsted. It's Francisco in left, Sizemore in center, Chu is in right. Peralta at third, Cabrera at short, Valbuena at second, Garco is at first, and Martinez behind the plate.
Mike DeMuro calling the balls and strikes tonight. Ron Culpa at first, the crew chief Dale Scott at second, and Jerry Meals down at third. Indians bring the infield in with a runner at third and 1 out. And Matt Holliday will be the batter. Takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. Holliday batting .275 on the year, but he's picked it up here lately, hitting in 8 of his last 9, going 10 for 31. Takes a strike, evens the count. Last year, Holliday feasted against the Indians, going 6 for 11 in the interleague series between the Indians and Rockies. Huff's 1-1 pitch.
Here's a note I find. The A's this year, their number 3 hitters have hit a combined 194 this year. Now, that's hard to believe. Your third hitter, that's usually your best hitter in the lineup.
Bob Guerin in his 3rd season at the helm in Oakland. Holliday chops one in the hole, backhanded nicely by Cabrera. He'll retire Holliday, but the A's grab the early lead as Holliday drives in his 41st run of the year. Nice play by Cabrera just to save a hit right there.
Yes, it was. It was a nice play, and he realized he only had one play, first base. Momentum carrying him out toward the outfield, but he makes a good, strong throw, gets the out, but Oakland takes a 1-0 lead.
Now Jason Giambi steps in, DHing tonight for Oakland. And takes a strike on the outside corner. You'll notice the Indians wearing the red caps here tonight. All Major League Baseball teams will be wearing red hats in celebration of this 4th of July holiday weekend. Pitch is outside to even the count at 1-1. See the C with the stars and stripes in the middle. The 1-1. In there for a called strike. It actually plays well with the Indians' overall red, white, and blue theme. May not play quite as well with the green and gold of Oakland.
No, it doesn't. It does not look very well with their unis.
Down low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jason Giambi with a .199 batting average. And over his last 10 games, just 3 hits and 29 at-bats. Back where it all began for Giambi in Oakland.
Well, they did make a switch. He was supposed to play first base at the start of this game, the first lineup they put out, but they flip-flopped it. He's DHing, and now Garciaparra is playing first.
Payoff pitch. Swung on and missed. Huff gets a strikeout, and the A's are retired 1-2-3 after the leadoff double by Kennedy. It leads to a run, and Oakland has the early lead. Peralta. Ryan Garco with good career numbers against Oakland batting seventh. Luis Valbuena and Ben Francisco rounded out.
The 21-year-old Trevor Cahill making start number 17 of the year for him. He is 5-6 at 423 earned run average. A sinker ball pitcher. Loves to throw the little two-seam fastball. Has great sink to it. You'll see it on the ground a lot if he's on his ball game. He will throw it probably 75% of the time.
Sinker in there for a strike, and it evens the count at 1-1.
One of the
liner to short, caught by Cabrera, one away.
Let's set Oakland's defense behind Cahill tonight. Holiday in left, Sweeney in center, Custis in right. Crosby at third, Cabrera at short, Kennedy at second, Garciaparra at first, Suzuki behind the plate.
Here's Grady Sizemore. 3 for 21 on the homestand. And he takes the first pitch strike. Trevor Cahill making his 17th start of the year. He's had 3 bad starts. If you take those 3 away, he's had a terrific year.
Well, taking into consideration, you're right, he's only 21 years old.
In those 3 bad starts, he's allowed a total of 21 runs. It seems to be the magic number. He's allowed 7 in his last start. He gave up 7 in Detroit on May 17th and 7 to Tampa Bay on April 24th.
Well, in his last start, he gave up 4 home runs in that ball game. He's given up 15 this year. So that tells me if he gets the ball up and it's not sinking, then they have a chance to hit it out. But 4 home runs against the Rockies.
Sizemore shoots it back foul. In all 3 of those clunkers, he's been knocked out early. 3 2/3 against Colorado in that last start. 2 1/3 in the start against Detroit, and 2 2/3 against Tampa.
No, don't let him get settled in. How about that?
Yeah.
Don't let that sinker start sinking.
Just missed. In tight, full count. A liner toward right field. It's going to drop for a hit. Cust cuts it off in the gap, and a 1-out single for Grady Sizemore. Well, Browns fans, you can log on to STOHD.com and register for your chance to win a pair of Browns regular season tickets. Now, every time the Indians hit a double between now and July 11th, we're giving away 2 tickets to a Cleveland Browns game. Now, the single game tickets go on sale for the Browns July 11th at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. But here's a chance to jump on board early, and we've got contestants lined up tonight to take advantage if the Indians can hit some doubles. And here's Victor Martinez, who has 19 doubles on the year for the Indians. And he looks at a ball down low. Those 19 doubles lead the Indians for Martinez, who is just 2 for 19 on the current homestand. The 1-0 pitch missed inside.
The other pitches Trevor Cahill does throw. He's got a knuckle curveball, he's got a slider, and he has a changeup. That's where you'll see Suzuki work him through, being the young pitcher that he is, to try and mix it up and keep hitters. There's his pitch right there.
On ball to Kennedy. Gets one there. The return throw to first in time. In inning-ending double play. After an inning of play here in Cleveland, it's Oakland 1 and the Indians nothing. In part by Continental Airlines, official airline of the Cleveland Indians. Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. By McCafe Coffees at McDonald's, all made to order with fresh ground espresso beans. And by All Care Dental and Dentures, we make seeing the dentist easy. One nothing, Oakland leads it as we go to the second inning here at Progressive Field. Kurt Suzuki, Nomar Garciaparra, and Jack Cust for Oakland to face left-hander David Huff. Huff delivers down low for ball 1. Huff fires it in there for a strike to even the count of 1-1.
Suzuki probably their all-star candidate for the A's this year, I would think. He's done a nice job. He doesn't look like a catcher, does he? Stature, his size, but he's a good player.
In the dirt. Suzuki batting .360 over his last 15 games after hitting just .191 in his previous 25, so he's turned it around nicely for Oakland.
Yeleni has not committed an error behind the plate in his last 63 games. Look at this.
Slices it down the right field line. Chu gives chase. Suzuki on his way to second, and he's in standing with a leadoff double. second leadoff double for Oakland here tonight.
That's called just going with the pitch. He did a nice job of just staying on it. Watch this pitch away. That's a great pitch. And he just stayed on it, boy. Sometimes you say those pitchers, you got to tip your cap. Well, you have to there. He just stayed on it and went with it nicely and gets a double. His 22nd double this year.
Nomar Garciaparra lines it into right center field. That's a base hit, and that's going to split the outfielders and go to the fence. Coming around third to score is Suzuki. Into second base with another double is Nomar Garciaparra, and it's 2-0 Oakland.
Well, Garciaparra has always been an aggressive hitter when he goes to home plate. He'll be ready right from the very first pitch. And, you get that leadoff double, you're thinking right side. That's only his third double of the year, but he jumped on the first pitch. It was up in the zone. That's an easy pitch for him to go that way, but it went to the wall because he got it up in the zone. So it's back-to-back doubles. It's a 2-0 Oakland lead.
That's the 25th double allowed by Indians pitching on this homestand.
This has been a double your pleasure for the opposing teams.
Now Jack Cust steps in. He's having a rough go of it here lately. In his last 8 games, 5 for 28 with 15 strikeouts.
Well, he's an all-or-nothing type of guy with the big swing. And when he gets hot, he can hit him. He's got good power to left center field, likes the ball up out over the plate. But, boy, when you make your pitch, he can also go down swinging with the best of them.
He's in an 0-2 hole here.
Custis struck out 81 times this year.
The 2-strike pitch is up high. Garciaparra, the runner at second base. And now Huff steps off to go through the signs once again. Now the 1-2. Caught the outside corner with the breaking ball. And Huff has his second strikeout. And the frustrations continue for Jack Cust.
Well, there you go. Good pitch. Nice breaking ball. And he gets the out, and he can't advance the runner. So that certainly helps. And that's a good pitch. That's the pitch the left-handers for the Indians, like David Huff, like Jeremy Sowers, they're going to have to make to the left-handed hitters consistently to get them out.
Now Ryan Sweeney, another left-handed bat. They have 4 in the lineup tonight. He's hit in 5 straight games, going 9 for his last 17.
Well, the Oakland A's, this is their 29th game that they have faced against a left-handed pitcher, and they are 10-18 in their first 28. That's the second worst in the majors behind Washington, who are 6-16 this year. And their batting average is .216 against left-handed pitchers as a team. So they fare better against the righties. And they'll get another lefty in this series.
Sweeney has missed time this year on the disabled list with a knee injury, sprained his left knee. And since coming back from the DL, in 12 games, he's batted .385. Down on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. With a runner at second and 1 out here in the second, and Oakland leading it 2-0. They have 3 hits in the game, all 3 doubles. And on the 1-2, popped foul, and it'll go into the seats. Oakland comes in having lost 7 out of 10, 12 of their last 18. Indians have lost 5 straight, 13 out of 15. This is game number 81 for the Indians, game number 78 for Oakland. Swung on and missed, and another strikeout for David Huff. That's 3 on the night. Don't forget, fans, if there's an engagement in your future, head over to Alvin's Jewelers and check out their Pray for Rain promotion. You buy your engagement ring at Alvin's. If it rains on your wedding day, the engagement ring is free. Log on to alvinsjewelers.com for all the details. Pitch missed inside for ball 1 to Bobby Crosby. The A's shortstop batting 9th tonight. Swung on and missed. Beg your pardon, Crosby at third base, not at shortstop. Huff with a 1-1 pitch. Little tapper. It's going to go foul. Crosby batting .203 on the year. Over his last 26 games, batting .164, and it goes deeper than that. A .163 average covering his last 39 games.
Yeah, this is amazing because this guy, when he first came up, what a good player he was as a shortstop. Very aggressive hitter. Had injuries, his share of injuries in his career. Mark Ellis is another guy. They were the combination at short and second for them for a while.
Fouled back.
This Oakland team was a team always with, they would walk a lot. They have only walked 263 times this year. They're the team that would work you, make you work, and sure, they may strike out. They wouldn't score a lot of runs, but their on-base percentage and their slugging percentage was always very good. This year, it's just a .365 slugging percentage and a .313 on base.
The 1-2, way outside. Crosby, he came up, as a shortstop. But this year, of course, they've had injury problems. Eric Chavez lost for the year.
No, he's been injured for the last few years.
There are some people that wonder if he'll ever play.
May not with the back surgery, shoulder surgery. He's had just about every kind of problem you could have.
He had microdiscectomy surgery on his back June 23rd. It's his 5th surgery since September of 2007. The second one on his back. He's also had 3 shoulder surgeries.
Yeah, he's been.
Payoff pitch.
He hasn't been out of the hospital, it seems like, in the last 2 years.
Yeah, this is his 6th career stint on the DL, 4th time in the last 3 years. It's too bad because he was a terrific hitter and a very good third baseman.
Gold Glover, man, many times over.
Runner at second, 2 down, and a 3-2 pitch. Yanked foul into the lower deck. So again, a 3-2 pitch coming to Bobby Crosby with 2 out here in the second inning. The payoff. Line down the right field line, and it slices foul at the last moment. Or that would have been
another double.
Number 4.
Yes, it would have been. Well, what they've done, though, I will say this. They've gone the other way with David Huff. This one's slices foul and missed by about 3-4 feet.
A 9-pitch at bat here for Crosby with 5 foul balls. And again the 3-2. And he went too far.
Yes, he did.
Crosby strikes out and Huff fans the side. But not before the A's get back-to-back doubles and score another run. 2-0 Oakland, middle of the second. tonight. Oakland in front 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second inning here at Progressive Field. Shin-Soo Choo, Travis Hafner, and Johnny Peralta for the Tribe. Choo with a bouncing ball, backhanded nicely by Kennedy. One away. Let's get a look at our Firestone League leaders. Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Cahill has been susceptible to the long ball, giving up 15.
Look at Guthrie leading the way. And of the 15 that Cahill has given up, 12 have come against left-handed hitters.
Here's Travis Hafner, 3 for 15 on the homestand. Looks at ball one down low. Hafner has hit in 9 of his last 13 games with 3 homers and 9 runs batted in over that span. Takes a strike to even the count at 1-1. Pronk has actually had pretty good success against left-handed pitching, going 7 for 22 on the year. And there's a drive into deep right center field. Cussed back, and it's gone. Hafner, home run number 9, gets the Indians on the board. It's a 2-1 game.
Well, make it number 16 for Trevor Cahill and number 13 to a left-handed hitter. Pronk starting to warm up a little bit. This is going to be our Pepsi home run replay. Let's see what this ball does if he gets it up. Boy, that stayed up a little bit. That did not have much movement to it. Went inside, and Pronk just goes in there and drops the bat head and hits it right over the first energy sign for a home run.
It's his 4th home run off a left-handed pitcher this year for Hafner out of his 9. Now Johnny Peralta takes a first pitch strike. Down low for ball 1, evens the count at 1-1. Peralta on the homestand has gone 7 for 21. Over the last 13 games, batting .300 with 7 multi-hit games. But you can see the movement on that sinker by Cahill as Peralta swung over the top. Just did get the top half of the baseball there, and he stays alive at 1-2. Swung on and missed, and Cahill gets his first strikeout. 2 down here in inning number 2. Get a look at tonight's Alltel text poll question of the game. Which International League All-Star from Columbus would you most like to see in Cleveland? 1 for Andy Marte, 2 for Jordan Brown, 3 for Wyatt Torriegas. Text your answer to 31962. We'll have the results later in the game. Pitch is outside to Ryan Garco. Garco's hit in 3 straight games, and over his last 5 on the homestand has gone 6 for 17. 2 balls, no strikes. Two and one after the foul tip by Garco. A bouncing ball single into right field.
That ball's upstairs. Cahill sometimes has a tendency when he overthrows where the ball will straighten up and he will not get a lot of sink to it. And Garko just went the other way with it. That's the third hit for the Indians.
Valbuena looks at a ball in the dirt. You go back to that series in Chicago against the Cubs when Valbuena was red hot. He had pushed that batting average well above the 200 mark.
Well, he was about 225 at that point.
But he's gone 0 for his last 14.
Well, you know what? There is an end in sight because we go to Chicago Monday night. And that's where all of his home runs have taken place.
The 1-1. Back over the screen.
You know, that is amazing when you think and you break down the numbers. All 4 of his home runs have come in Chicago, including the north side against the Cubs. And also 7 of his 10 RBIs have been there.
Missed inside. Just missed. Thought he had him rung up. The count goes full. Has Valbuena going through what you would consider to be the normal ebb and flow for a young player, the ups and downs, or teams making adjustments based on what he did in that series against Chicago?
Well, I'm sure they're making adjustments. They're going to, you know, they have scouts. They're going to their scouting reports. He's got to concentrate and on what makes him a good hitter. And to me, he's a good hitter on pitches down in the zone. I mean, whether he was just locked in that day or in that series in Wrigley or not, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Garko
I think
at
he's
first
going to be fine.
Takes off, and the 3-2 bouncer to second. Kennedy fires the first, and the inning is over. Indians get on the board thanks to Travis Hafner's 9th home run of the year. And through 2, it's 2-1 Oakland. Third inning here at Progressive Field, 2-1. Oakland leads it. And for Oakland, it will be Adam Kennedy, their leadoff man, who started the game with a double and scored their first run in the first inning. And for David Huff, he's allowed 3 hits, all 3 doubles. He's also struck out 4, including the last 3 Oakland hitters in a row.
Yeah, he really settled down after the back-to-back doubles. Last inning, struck out the side.
And it's quickly 0-2 on Adam Kennedy, who shot one down the line in left his first time up. Swung on and missed. Chased one in the dirt. Only got a piece of it, says home plate umpire Mike DeMuro.
Well, that's hard to tell. They don't think so from the dugout, and Victor's arguing with him right now.
Victor Martinez wants help. He said, why don't you ask one of the other guys? And here comes Eric Wedge.
He's saying, no way did that ball hit the ground. That's what he heard. They're saying it's a foul tip off the bat, and Eric's saying, no, that ball hit the ground, and he swung through it.
Eric Wedge wanting maybe DeMuro to get some help, and DeMuro telling him, I don't need it. It's a very difficult thing to pick up on the replay. Let's see if we can.
Well, let's see what we can see here. He missed it by a foot. It wasn't even close.
Rolls one over to second base. Valbuena will throw him out.
Well, tomorrow, of course, is the 4th of July, and that means a spectacular post-game fireworks show will take place here at the ballpark after the game. And the Tribe hosts the A's. That'll start at 7:05. All fans will receive a red, white, and blue Indians baseball cap coming into the ball game. So that'll be nice. Fireworks afterwards.
Here is Orlando Cabrera, who grounded out to second his first time up. Cabrera with a 14-game hitting streak. He's one shy of his career high. Grounds it to short as Drupal Cabrera throws out Orlando Cabrera, 2 down. Let's go down on the farm right now and check out our Subway fresh face of the game. Vinny Pistano, right-hander at AA Akron, got his 22nd save last night.
I was hoping we could have used him tomorrow when we had Pavano and Mazzano. Mazzaro. Vinny Pistano.
Subway, play hard, eat fresh. Before that ball to Matt Holliday, David Huff had thrown 10 straight strikes. Matt Holliday drove in the A's first run with an RBI ground out. And looks at ball 2. There are a lot of folks wondering what the A's will do with Matt Holliday, if they'll trade him before the deadline. Certainly when he originally came to Oakland, Billy Beane said, well, there's a good chance that he won't be here beyond this year. We're not going to probably have the kind of money to re-sign him based on what he turned down before Colorado traded him initially. Broken bat bouncer to third. Johnny Peralta with the long throw across. And the A's go 1-2-3, and David Huff is set down 6 in a row. Middle of the third, it's Oakland 2, Cleveland 1. as Drupal Cabrera and Grady Sizemore for the Tribe here in the third. Trevor Cahill fires a first pitch strike into Francisco.
You know, when you look at Cahill, also Anderson and Mazzaro all came to spring training as non-roster invitees with a chance to make the rotation. And Cahill and Anderson made it. Mazzaro came on in June.
Low throw, and Garciaparra couldn't dig it out at first. So Francisco aboard to start the third for Cleveland. The air charged to Bobby Crosby on the throw.
Well, it's just a routine hop. All he has to do is make a decent throw, and it's short hops him. Garciaparra could not pick it. Well, you get down, he low bridges a pitcher, but that'll go as an error.
I believe they told me this is the first time Garciaparra has played in the field since he came off the DL.
That's right. It
He's
is.
Pinch hit a dozen times. He's started at DH, and they wanted to see how he reacted taking ground balls during batting practice today, and that's why they ultimately made the switch in the lineup from putting him at DH and then switching him and Giambi.
Well, it's not when you're out there every day and you got a feel for ground balls like that, he picks it. But when you haven't been out there in a while, it's not that easy to just go out and start picking things out of the dirt.
Of course, you remember he started his career as a terrific shortstop with the Red Sox. Pitch to Cabrera outside, 1-1 the count as Drew Ball a liner to short his first time up. Well, you mentioned Cahill, a guy who's just 21 years old, now in the rotation for Oakland, and he is probably exhibit A as to why Billy Beane may not be quick to deal away Matt Holliday this year unless he gets completely blown away with a trade offer, because they got Trevor Cahill as one of those compensation picks when they lost Esteban Loaiza to free agency.
There you go.
So Billy Beane has always been of the philosophy that unless we really get an offer we can't refuse, we'll take the extra draft picks.
Well, as I mentioned, Vin Mazzaro, he was at AA and AAA last year, but Cahill and Brett Anderson, those guys never pitched above AA last year down in Midland. So they're starting. What do they have? 6 rookie pitchers on their staff this year. Anderson, Bailey, Cahill, Gonzalez, Mazzaro, and Outman.
Down low. And Cabrera able to hold off. 3-2 the count.
Well, you start Francisco here. And the reason being is because Cahill is a ground ball pitcher. You want to stay out of the double play, but hopes that he'll find a hole. And you can first and third him because he's going to get the sinker.
There goes the runner. And a tapper foul. You know, the other interesting thing about Cahill, not all that surprising given what we see nowadays, but he only pitched 19 innings prior to his senior year in high school. He was a shortstop and a big one at 6'3", almost 200 pounds.
Well, he's got some kind of vicious sinker for not being a pitcher.
Runner goes again, and the ball is hit right back up the middle. Kennedy's only play is at first, and Cabrera is out number one.
That's exactly
Francisco
why you start
in the scoring
runner.
position.
That's why you start the runner right there, to stay out of the double play.
Well, Travis Hafner's home run in the second inning got the Indians on the board and got some more money for the Gathering Place, a wonderful community that helps individuals and families who are dealing with cancer. Our friends at Great Clips donating $50 this year for every Indians homer. Rick and I are each donating $5 per dinger, over $5,000 on the year, and you can make a donation as well. Log on to touchedbycancer.org to learn more about the gathering place. 1 on, 1 out for Grady Sizemore, who singled his first time up. Tying run and scoring position for the Tribe here, and that pitch way outside. Well, one thing about Cahill, he must have been a quick study making the transition to becoming a full-time pitcher. And when you consider he graduated from high school with a 4.6 GPA.
I thought the highest you could get is a 4.
I used to think that too, but now they have all these advanced placement classes, and kids are smarter than we were.
I guess. I know they're smarter than I was, but
he had already committed to Dartmouth, so he was going to the Ivy League before the A's came along and drafted him and made him a good offer. But obviously a very intelligent young man who has made it to the big leagues at the tender age of 21, and he just turned 21 during spring training.
They have a young rotation in fold right now. That's taking place.
Just missed with that pitch. A long look in for Cahill. And a count 2-1.
Boy, that's a pitch there that's tough to lay off of because he has good sinking action to it.
I can see why he had a long look in after he threw it. 2-1. Got him to chase, and it evens the count.
Came back with a changeup right there, and that's what Suzuki does. I think Grady's sitting there looking for that same sinker down, but what happens, he pulls a string, and it's probably 6, 7, 8 miles an hour slower than that two-seamer.
The 2-2 pitch. Fouled off the mask of home plate umpire Mike DeMuro. And Kurt Suzuki will give him a chance to get his bearings back.
Well, right into the mask, he'll take it. That one was up. That got him on the shoulder.
Yeah, it sure did. Sounded like it hit the mask, but.
Well, I'd like to send along some birthday wishes. Ann Roberts of West Farmington, Ohio, turning 88 today. Anita Snyder of Talmadge, 73. A couple of anniversaries. Paul and Dorothy Compier of West Salem, 55th year of being married. And Hank and Jean Bogdansky of Brunswick, their 50th anniversary. Congratulations to you both.
Some big ones tonight. Here's the 2-2 to Sizemore. Did he hold up? They appeal. He didn't go around. Full count. Third base umpire Jerry Meals said Sizemore was able to check his swing.
There's a side view. They caught a break there. Looked like he went from that angle.
We've seen him rung up for less. So the string is out for Sizemore. Francisco, the runner at second, represents the tying run. And the payoff pitch is ball 4. So Grady's been aboard safe twice tonight. 2 on, 1 out. Victor Martinez coming to the plate. And we'll go back to the STO studios right now for a Ford Sports update.
Van Rick will head to Fenway Park for the Red Sox taking on the M's. Bottom of the first inning, Boston getting some runs. Here, Jason Bay with the ground rule double scores Dustin Pedroia. Ortiz to third. Then he scores on his Felix Hernandez wild pitch. Mariners add a run in the top of the third. It's 2-1 Boston now, going to the bottom of the third at Fenway. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Al. Seattle making some noise this year. They're 2 games above 500 and only 3.5 games in back of L.A. in the AL West. Victor Martinez bounced into an inning-ending double play his first time up. Looks at ball 1 just off the outside edge. Hafner's homer in the second inning was certainly a good sign for Indians' left-handed hitters. Sizemore has a hit, but coming into tonight on the homestand, Indians' left-handed hitters were batting just 195. Out of play, 1-1. There's Pronk, who belted his 9th home run of the year in the 2nd inning to get the Indians on the board tonight. The 1-1. Down too low, 2 balls and a strike.
And you can see it's basically that sinker, as I told you, and the changeup. He doesn't mess around with many breaking balls, does he?
I guess you stick with what works.
Well, that's true. I mean, he's a young kid. You don't throw your 3rd best pitch, in situations when you need outs, especially when he can make 1 pitch and get 2 outs. And that's what he's looking for right now. Is a ground ball. He was able to get Victor to ground into the double play to end the 1st inning. He's looking for the same thing here. The error started the inning, and then a check swing that he didn't get the call on with Grady. He ended up walking him.
The 2-1. In the dirt. 3 balls and a strike. So Martinez in a good hitter's count, and Cahill working himself into trouble, and that's going to send Suzuki to the mound. Trevor Cahill was part of the Olympic team last year, but he suffered a rib cage injury during the Olympics and was shut down. You can see why, though, they wanted him on that Olympic team. Shin-Soo Choo waits on deck. The 3-1 pitch to Martinez. In the air, left field near the line. Holiday makes the grab, and the runners have to hold. Let's get a look at our great clip of the game. A couple of days ago, Indians were off yesterday. Shin-Soo Choo taking Jose Contreras down the left field line. Driving home Victor Martinez. Relax, you're at Great Clips. Indians would certainly take one of those right here to tie the game. Two on, 2 out. Down low for ball 1. Oakland has the early lead 2-0 before Hafner's homer in the 2nd. Now the Indians threatening here in the 3rd. And it's 2-0.
Well, hitters starting to get in decent hitting counts against this guy. Victor helped him out. He had a 3-1 pitch. I don't think that pitch that he swung at was a very good pitch for him to hit. And he flew out weakly to left field.
There's a line drive single into center field. Francisco around 3rd scores the tying run. Sizemore on his way to 3rd. He'll go in standing. Indians at the corners, and we're even at 2 thanks to Choo, who drives in his 47th run of the year.
This is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. And right now at McDonald's, you can purchase any size soft drink or sweet tea for only $1. How about that? A 2-0 count, gets a pitch to his liking. And right up middle of the field, as we see Choo use so often. And in comes Francisco. So the error comes around to score. The Indians take advantage of the extra out in the inning, and they tie the ball game up at 2.
And now Travis Hafner, who homered his first time up. Bats here in the 3rd with 2 on and 2 out. And the pitch is outside. That run scored by Ben Francisco is the 167th of the year, scored by the Indians with 2 outs. And in Major League Baseball this year, no one has scored more 2-out runs than the Cleveland Indians. Coming into tonight, the Red Sox had scored 167 2-out runs. So based on whatever they've done tonight, the Indians have at least equaled them to this point. That pitch missed low. And it's 3-0. There you see the Red Sox and Indians tied in Major League Baseball for the most two-out runs. So a 3-0 count for Hafner here with 2 on and 2 out. Taking all the way. And Cahill lays it in there. If Hafner reaches, Johnny Peralta would be next. The 3-1. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Been a long inning for Trevor Cahill, whose pitch count has climbed to 62 already.
Well,
that's going to bring out Kurt Young, the pitching coach, for the first time tonight. 31 pitches
batters
in the night.
Yeah, 16 batters today, and he's only been ahead of 2 of them. 0-2 and 1-2. Well, you can still get the Plain Dealer pin collection, but only through July 12th. It's an 18-pin set, which is available at all Indians team shops and at participating Northeast Ohio Walgreens, Circle K, and Giant Eagle stores.
So a chance for Johnny Peralta to do some damage here. Bases loaded, 2 down in the third. We're tied at 2. And it missed inside for ball 1. Peralta this year is 3 for 6 in bases loaded, 2 out situations. He foul tipped that one, and it looked like it broke something. Knocked something off the
little piece
shin
of
guard.
equipment going down near the foot. It's like the toe guard on the bottom part of the shin protector. Goes straight down and knocks a piece off. No big deal. It's just Velcro. We'll snap it back on.
1-1 the count on Johnny Peralta here. He was trying to put the Indians in front for the first time tonight. Struck out his first time up. And a weak tapper hit toward third. Fielded there by Crosby. Off balance throw. The ball comes loose. Sizemore scores. Here comes Chu. Indians take the lead. The throw. And Johnny Peralta arrived at precisely the same moment. And Garciaparra couldn't hold on after the jarring collision. And the Indians scored 2 runs. Travis Hafner winds up at third, and it's 4-2 Cleveland.
Bad throw again by Crosby. It's up the line. His only play. He gets a little more on it, but he cannot make that throw from third base. It pulls Garciaparra off the bag, and Johnny kicks it out of his glove with his knee. Watch his knee. That's going to knock the ball out of the glove. He goes down to tag him, and there it comes out. Couldn't hold on. That ball will get away. 2 runs will score. Indians will take a 4-2 lead, and that's another extra out in the inning. And that's the second error of the inning on Crosby.
These are all unearned runs.
That's now 56 errors on the A's.
Ryan Garco looks at a strike to even the count at 1-1.
It's 10 errors in their last 9 games. So defensively, boy, when you don't score a lot of runs, you cannot give up a lot. And they have just given. They only have 1 hit in the inning.
Broken bat roller to short. Orlando Cabrera will go the long way, and the inning is over. But the Indians score 3 times thanks to the errors by Crosby, and they now lead it 4-2. Oakland here in the fourth. Indians in front now 4-2. Giambi struck out his first time up. Looks at ball one from David Huff.
Well, now the Indians are able to come back and take the lead. We'll see if David can go out there and settle down. He has after the back-to-back doubles in the second inning. Retired 6 straight, 3 of them via strikeout.
There's a drive to deep center. Sizemore chasing back. Got turned around. And the ball bounces on the track. Giambi into second base with a double. That ball started tailing back over Grady's head, and he just was unable to make a spin move.
Well, that's the toughest ball for an outfielder, especially a center fielder. I mean, this ball was hammered. Fastball, and it's right over his left shoulder as he's going to break. He turned the wrong way initially. See, he turned toward his right shoulder. He should have broke the other way because it actually came over his left shoulder. But that's a tough play because he saw it come off the bat thinking, I got to break that way. And that ball was that was a hard-hit baseball.
Little bunt up the third base side. Peralta with the bare hand grab and throw, but not in time. And Kurt Suzuki with a bunt single. And that's the first hit tonight for Oakland that's not a double.
Well, he was bunting for a base hit. Peralta's back. That was really a heads-up play by
Giambi
Suzuki.
Goes to third, and the A's have runners at the corners now.
I mean, look where Peralta was. He was a step behind third base. He couldn't get anything on the throw. He's got to flip it. He was accurate with the throw, just couldn't get anything on it. That enabled Suzuki to beat it out. So it's men on the corners.
Back come the A's. Nomar Garciaparra, an RBI double his first time up. Even though he hasn't faced the Indians in a number of years, he's picked right up where he left off. Garciaparra, in 60 career games against the Indians, has batted .369 against the Tribe, and that RBI double in the second gives him 51 ribbies in those now 61 games against him.
Yeah, he was always making left-hand turns when he was with the Red Sox.
You know, we talk a lot about low ball hitters. Here's a guy who I remember always being a pretty good high ball hitter. Guy who can get on top of a fastball.
He hits everything. It doesn't matter. He hits balls all over the strike zone. He's not just settling, looking middle in. He'll hit it away, up and away, down and away. There's a good pitch. When he was in his prime or when he was swinging the bat well, it didn't matter. You had to mix it up on him, and he was a good dead red hitter. Here's a changeup, and he has him out in front. That first time up, he had a pitch upstairs for Garciaparra. That's what enabled him to take it the other way so easily.
228 career homers. Closing in on 1,000 ribbies for his career. Guy who's been able to hang around despite all the injuries that have besieged him over the years. Made the move from shortstop over to first base.
Yeah, it's just tough to, it's tough to keep him in the lineup when he's out there on a daily basis. He's always hurt.
Popped up, foul grounds, and headed to the seats, out of play. I remember back in Boston, he'd have a hand or wrist problem, it seemed like, almost every time we faced him. He's always in motion when he's at home plate.
Yes, he is. He had 15 RBIs in 8 games against the Tribe in the postseason.
The 3-2. Popped him up on the infield. Second baseman Luis Valbuena makes the catch, one away. Time now for our direct energy, bringing the gas sequence. Take you back to the second inning when Jack Cust came to the plate.
Well, and this is a big out at the time, and it was his second strikeout in the ball game, but he comes right out. He hits away with his first 2 pitches, missed with one upstairs, drops the hook on him right there. Good sequence.
Direct Energy, simple solutions for your natural gas supply needs. 16 strikeouts for Cust in his last 29 at bats. Suzuki runs well for a catcher. He does have 4 steals. So Huff wants to make sure he doesn't just take off on him.
As we said before, when you watch David Huff, he's quick to home plate. You're not good base stealers don't run on him. You just watch that front leg, and he's just like a little slide step coming to the plate. Very quick to home plate.
A's at first and third, 1 out here in the 4th. Indians with a 4-2 advantage. And he's missed with the first 2 to Cust. Caught the outside corner that time. Oh, at the knees, outside corner, perfect pitch. Yeah. Evens the count at 2-2.
That's what he did to him the first 2 pitches last at bat. He fell behind, but he comes right back and nails the corner with 2 straight pitches. And you're thinking up there, you got a man on third base, you want to hit it in the air.
He does this time.
I'll tell you what.
It's a base hit.
Made the adjustment.
Giambi comes home to score. He had gone back to third to tag up Suzuki into second. And it's a 1-run lead for the Indians at 4-3 now, as Jack Cust picks up his 42nd RBI on the year.
You know, in this sequence, he never once came inside. You know, and that's exactly where the last 2 pitches were. So maybe it might have been worth his while to just move him back off the plate a little bit. I know you don't want to go to 3-2, but everything in that at-bat to him was away, so he never really had to react or protect anything on the inside part of the plate. So a base hit brings him 1 step closer. It's 4-3.
The doubles that have been hit by the opposing teams on this homestand have paid off. The 26 doubles hit by Indians opponents have resulted in 16 runs. So once they've gotten them into those scoring positions, they've been able to get them home. And I think their big reason, if we go back and look, a lot of them were leadoff doubles.
Yeah, that happens. You get the leadoff double, you get them over, good chance, you know, if you're facing a team with the average offense, they're going to get them in a lot.
1-1 to count. Ryan Sweeney lets that one go by. 2 balls and a strike. Struck out swinging his first time up. Riding a 5-game hitting streak. He's 9 for his last 18.
You know, coming into this game, and he's going to get out of this one.
Cabrera steps on second, throws to first, inning-ending double play. A's get a run back, but Cleveland still leads at 4-3, middle of the 4th. Luis Valbuena, Ben Francisco, and Asdrubal Cabrera for the Tribe to face right-hander Trevor Cahill, who was tagged for 3 unearned runs in the 3rd inning, and he had to make 36 pitches to get through it as the Indians sent 8 men to the plate. 2 errors committed by Bobby Crosby in the inning had a direct impact. Valbuena, big chopper to second. Adam Kennedy takes care of it, 1 away. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $113 million. And there's still time to run out and pick up a ticket before the 10:45 cutoff. That'd be a heck of a way to kick off your 4th of July weekend, wouldn't it?
Well, yes, it would.
You'd have your own fireworks show with that.
Oh, baby.
Francisco looks at a ball inside. It was Ben who reached on the throwing error by Bobby Crosby that started the 3rd inning for the Indians. Fouled away.
Man, we got a friend here that wrote us a letter, and he wanted the answer to a question. Emil Sperling, who, he watches all of our games, and he was curious. He had a question. There once was a player nicknamed Three Fingers, and he wanted to know what the nickname was. And it's Three Fingers Mordecai Brown. Inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1949. Played with the St. Louis Cardinals, the Cubs. Cincinnati, began with the Cubs. 12 seasons. He was .239 and .130. So, Emil, we hope that answers your question.
That's one of the great
Mordecai Brown
nicknames in
Three
baseball.
Fingers.
Three-finger Mordecai Brown.
And I know you listen because you said if you don't catch the game, you watch it on replay.
And you know why he had the nickname Three-finger Mordecai Brown?
Probably because he had 3 fingers.
He lost parts of 2 of his fingers in a farming accident when he was a kid. And they think that at the time, they thought that might have had something to do with the kind of movement he would get on his pitches.
I'm sure it was. Would he have a good sinker?
Never saw him throw.
Well, you know everything else about him, so I figured I might as well ask you what he throws. Thought you faced him at fantasy camp or something.
No, that was 4-finger Mordecai. Here's Ben Francisco with a walk and a 1-out base runner now for Asdrubal Cabrera. A's manager Bob Guerin has watched his starter Trevor Cahill walk 3 now in the game with 1 strikeout. He's allowed 4 hits, including the homer by Hafner. And now Asdrubal Cabrera, who is 0 for 2, steps in. Took a strike. Ben Francisco, the runner at first, does have 11 steals on the year.
I'd like to see him start running again. It's a good combination here with Cabrera at the plate, even though there is 1 out.
Close play, but Ben back with the dive.
He gave him the old head fake first, like he was going as he was moving over to throw to first base. Francisco was out there, so maybe he is off trying to get a lead and run.
The 0-1 pitch yanked down the right field line. Francisco hits second. He's going to turn and burn for third. Digging it out is Cust. Francisco going to be waved home. The relay throw to the plate, not in time. Going to third, Cabrera, and he is safe. He avoided the tag of Crosby. And Asdrubal Cabrera gives the Indians their 5th run of the ball game. Nice piece of hitting as he yanked it deep down into that right field corner. And Francisco able to come all the way around and score from first base.
Well, that's a double, and I'll tell you what, good hustle to get to third, and he did beat the throw. There's that sinker on the inside part of the plate as Cahill's foot slips off the mound, but it gets down into the corner. And Francisco, Joel Skinner waited for a while and says, keep going. And then Suzuki makes a nice throw, comes out, but his foot does get on the bag at third. Watch, the tag is high. There it is. The foot's there by the time the tag is applied. And watch Cabrera. Timeout. There you go.
Now
Good
the
hustle.
infield in for Grady Sizemore, who looks at a ball up high. That's the first double of the night for the Indians, and that makes a winner of Colin Carney from Geneva, Ohio. He just won 2 tickets to a Cleveland Browns game this year. Every double the Indians hit between now and July 11th, we're giving away a pair of tickets to a Browns game this year.
We need that run that the opposing teams have had on us. You know, this homestand for the next 3 games, and we'll get rid of some tickets.
We're going to bring out pitching coach Kurt Young for the 2nd straight inning. As the Indians now with a 5-3 lead.
Well, when you look at it, the error has scored. 2 walks have scored. So he has hurt his cause out there on the mound when you're giving up base. Of course, the error is not his fault in that inning, and he should have been out of it. But here, the 1-out walk, and it was to Francisco, and then the double. Santiago Casilla is up getting loose in the pen.
2-0 the count on Grady Sizemore with the A's infield pulled in at the cut of the grass all the way around. High pop. This is going to go out of play. Grady singled in the first, walked and scored in the third. Already 8 runs in the ball game, and that's nothing new. Indians games this year averaging 10.6 runs a game. That's the most in Major League Baseball. Down low, 3-1. The Indians came into tonight having scored 405 and allowing 446. 851 runs in 80 games. Ball 4. Another walk for Cahill. Indians at the corners. 2nd walk in the inning.
Well, All-Star voting isn't over yet. You can vote now through Tuesday for the 33rd and final player for both American and National League rosters. Go to Indians.com, cast your All-Star game final vote for the final 2 All-Stars right now.
Here is Martinez with 2 aboard and only 1 out. Nothing happening on the bluff move by Cahill. As Dribble Cabrera, the runner at third, Sizemore at first. In the dirt. So Trevor Cahill wobbling along here in the 4th inning. He may be on the verge of getting knocked out.
Yeah, I would have to think that if he does not retire Martinez, this could be his last hitter.
Snap throw to first, and Grady Sizemore just did get back. .86 pitches already made by Cahill. And the 1-0 took something off and it sailed on him. 2 balls, no strikes.
Now, his problem has been tonight he hasn't been able to get ahead of the hitters. I mean, he has scuffled. He's had 6 2-0 counts. Rarely 0-2-1-2. And when you're a young pitcher and you don't throw but a hard sinker, maybe a little changeup, not much else, you better get ahead of the hitters to expand their zone, and then you might get them to swing after that sinker out of the zone. But they haven't been able to, and they've had some good counts to hit in.
That ball just went foul, and actually it turns out to be a good thing for Oakland because Garciaparra had kicked the ball out of his own mitt.
Well, I can tell you right now, it doesn't look like that switch they made before game time to this point has paid off. Now, I know Jason Giambi's not a a stellar first baseman, but everything that's happened to Garciaparra tonight has gone wrong.
Another throw over, but Grady doesn't have a big lead at first base.
Boy, and the Indians have done their job tonight. As I told you, 6-2-0 counts. You know, they're 2 for 3 with 2 walks in that count. So they've taken advantage of the young man.
Victor swings through it, 2-2.
And this is the one guy that, you know, that hasn't had the patience when he's had the count in his favor tonight.
Yeah, it looked like he went out of the strike zone his last time up. And
yes, he
out
did
the
on the 3-1 count. Right there, count in his favor 2-1. Instead of going 3-1, he swings at it. Going back with another changeup.
And the 2-2 swung on and missed. Second strikeout for Cahill, 2 down in the inning.
Well, he's looking for one pitch. That's a fastball, and he's not going to get it. You see, he swings over the top of that one. That one down out of the zone.
Victor just 1 hit now in his last 19 at bats. That'll leave it up to Shin-Soo Choo to try to add to the Indians' lead. He had a 2-out RBI single in the third. Outside for ball 1.
He's throwing that changeup a lot now to the left-handers.
Indians have now scored 169 2-out runs on the year. Belt high for a strike, 1-1. There goes Sizemore. Pitch is in the dirt, and a good stop by Suzuki. Otherwise,
yes,
the Indians
it
would have picked up another run right there.
An outstanding stop. He's got to deal with the back foot of Shin-Soo Choo. Runner's taking off. His priority was just getting to the ball. Watch this. This is a terrific play down near the feet, and he's able to just catch it.
Now the 2-1. Lays off. 3 balls and a strike. So now Choo in a good hitter's count.
Choo got him last time with the base hit 2-0 count.
Pitch number 95 of the night for.
Well, they've made this young man work.
Cahill with the 3-1. In the air, deep left field. Holiday back, looking up. It's off the fence. Cabrera and Sizemore score into second with a 2-out, 2-run double is Shin-Soo Choo. He's driven in 3 on the night. Indians now lead it by a score of 7-3, and that is going to do it for Trevor Cahill. And again, it's the 2-out damage for the Indians.
Yeah, tack on.
5 2-out runs tonight.
But you see, you get the sinker. He stayed on it nicely with the count in his favor. He didn't try to pull it. Good approach, and I mean hit a liner over the head of Halladay in left field. So tack 2 more runs onto your 2-out scoring. Tack 2 more onto the board. It's 7-3, and that's going to do it for Trevor Cahill this evening.
Another short outing for Cahill, and what do you know? 7 runs again allowed by Cahill. That's been the magic number against him. Timeout in Cleveland. It's 7-3 Tribe. base and 2 outs after the 2-out, 2-run double by Shin-Soo Choo. And now right-hander Santiago Casilla coming on for the 27th time this year. Trevor Cahill's night is over after 95 pitches, 63 of which came in the 3rd and 4th innings. And Travis Hafner about to step in. By the way, that double by Shin-Soo Choo means Ike Redfern of Toledo, Ohio, has won 2 tickets to a Cleveland Browns game this year. So congratulations to Ike Redfern in Toledo. You're going to a Browns game this year. Hafner has homered and walked. How about Choo taking off for third? Throw is high, and he's in there with a stolen base. It's his 13th of the year.
Well, with 2 outs, don't necessarily get it with Hafner hitting. But he just took off. He must have had him read. You got to make it. He does.
I wonder if maybe he took off because Casilla just never looked at him.
Well, the infield's back, and they're not going to pay attention to him. You figure, okay, they want to get third out.
Down low, and another good stop by Suzuki. So 2 doubles tonight for the Indians. And we've given away a couple of pair of tickets to a Browns game this year. You can log on to STOHD.com and register for your chance to win. We're giving away a pair of Browns tickets for every double the Indians hit through July 11th. Hafner screams one past Luis Rivera at first.
What a difference a series makes. Tonight, the left-handed batters for the Indians are 5 for 13. They were 5 for 42 in the whole Chicago series. So they're turning it around tonight. Of course, they took advantage of the young rookie, Trevor Cahill.
Good count for Hafner here. 2-1 pitch. Popped back out of play. Runner at third, 2 down. And the 2-2 pitch. Low, full count. David Huff has spent a lot of time sitting in the dugout the last 2 innings.
He says, I don't mind. Just keep right on scoring. They put 6 on the board in the last 2 innings.
3 in the 3rd, 3 here in the 4th. And a chance for more as Hafner awaits a 3-2 pitch from Casilla.
Oh, he's halfway to the dugout.
Ball 4 and a pitch that at least at first looked pretty good.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Umpires, I mean, you don't run off the mound like that. But let's see where the pitch is. Ooh, wow, he thought he had him. Didn't get the call.
Maybe a little bit high.
He's been a little inconsistent back there. One time he'll give you a pitch, the next time he won't. So you got to get used to it.
1st and 3rd, 2 down for Johnny Peralta, who is 0 for 2 tonight. And that's up high, ball 1. Up the middle it goes into center field. Choo scores. Hafner stops at second. And more 2-out damage for the Indians as Johnny Peralta drives in his 34th run of the year. And it's 8-3 Cleveland. And that run charged to Trevor Cahill.
Yeah, close the book on him. There's one right down the middle.
8 runs allowed for Cahill tonight in 3 2/3 innings, 5 earned. First and second with 2 down, and Ryan Garco is the 9th man to bat in the inning. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Pitch is inside. Ball 1. Now the 1-0. Garko, a big chopper to second. Kennedy will throw him out, and the inning is over. But the Indians bat around, score 4 more runs, and they now lead it 8-3. You call for free with My Circle, any number, any network. And by Nike, it's about you. Bobby Crosby will lead off the 5th inning here for Oakland. Crosby 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Indians on top 8-3 here this evening.
Well, he had to endure a 22, maybe 23-minute inning. Shouldn't say delay because he loved every minute of it.
A liner to third on the hop. Peralta knocks it down, throws, and it gets by Garko. Crosby will scamper back to first.
Well, Johnny going to be upset with himself. I don't know if that ball got him in the wrist. It was hit hard and sharply, and he had it. Did a nice job to keep it in front of him and keep it out front, but then on the run, as he was throwing, he just didn't make a good throw. See, that ball might have got him on the hand and the thumb, and it hurt. And you see, as he was running, he never really got his momentum when he had time. And he throws the ball around, and that's going to be an error. And you can see he's talking to himself. He's not happy.
So the A's get their leadoff man on for Adam Kennedy, who's 1 for 2 with a double.
Well, third base has been that position tonight, hasn't it? It's got all 3 errors in the game.
Swung on and missed.
Boy, and when you're a third baseman, you've got a left-hander that's, like David Huff, not overpowering. You had better be ready at third because there's a chance the right-handed hitters can always hit you the toppers. You can see any kind of ball at you.
Maybe the best way to practice being a third baseman is stand in front of a brick wall about 10 feet away from it, throw a rubber ball at it as hard as you can and try to catch it on the rebound.
No, make it hard balls because when you get hit, it's going to hurt anyway.
2-1 pitch. And it's a called strike to even the count.
It's just a reactionary position. It's very difficult. I mean, you don't have time to react. He didn't on that one. He did a nice job of keeping the ball in front of him. And he had maybe a little more time than he thought, or maybe he just wanted to get rid of it quickly. I don't know. But you learn from those mistakes.
Valbuena to Cabrera, and Asdrubal dropped the ball. May have been thinking too quickly about turning two.
I think the flip from Valbuena was a little low. I want to look at this again. They gave Cabrera the error. I want to see this again. If it was high enough. You have to get one out. You can't get the two before you get your first one. Let's see. See, now that he's going to get the error, but that wasn't really a good flip by Valbuena. I'm going to tell you, that was too low. He probably should have caught it and just stepped on first, but he messed up the double play. So now back-to-back errors.
Door opened up for Oakland. They trail it by 5.
You need a better flip than that.
But there should be 2 outs already in the inning. Orlando Cabrera 0 for 2.
There
he chops one to short. 6, 4, 3. This time they convert.
Well, I'll tell you what, David Huff did a nice job of getting the ball right back up the middle of the diamond and giving them the opportunity to turn it again. Good job. And during that hitting streak of Cabrera's, he hasn't walked once in the 14 games. So he's up there swinging at everything, and he did right there.
I wondered about that, and apparently it's not all that unusual in a hit streak to not have a lot of walks, or any for that matter.
That's because you're swinging at everything, and you're hot.
Since 2003, it's the 5th hit streak of at least 14 games or more without a walk. Robinson Cano had an 18-game hitting streak without a walk. Adrian Beltre had a 16-game streak without a walk. A.J. Pierzynski and Torrey Hunter each had 15-game streaks without a walk. Oh, and then I beg your pardon, there are 7 others tied with Orlando Cabrera at 14 without a walk.
Yeah. Well, you get hot, you want to swing the bat, and that is going to drop foul.
Just outside the line and into the seats it goes. So back to home plate comes Matt Holliday, who is 0 for 2 tonight.
That did not miss by much. You come back and that thing is going to hit just about a foot.
Runner at third, 2 down for Holliday. And the 3-1 pitch is a strike called, full count. Eight 3 Indians lead it. A's with a runner at third, 2 down. Payoff pitch. And it's ball 4. Let's send you back to the STO studios for a Ford Sports Update with Al Pulowski.
All right, fellas, important series this weekend in the AL Central. Tigers, Twins in Minnesota, and here at the top of the second inning, the Tigers on the board first. Josh Anderson, this triple to deep right center, scores Kelly and Inge. Detroit ahead 3-0 now, third inning in the Homer Dome. Back to you.
Boy, it seems like it's been forever since we saw the Tigers.
We get our chance.
Jason Giambi takes the first pitch strike.
Going into the All-Star break, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of next week.
Giambi scorched one to straightaway center over the head of Grady Sizemore's last time up. This time he pops it up. Johnny Peralta calling for it. And the third baseman grabs it. So David Huff picks up his defense, works around 2 errors, and the A's do not score. No need to go to the Indians bullpen tonight, at least so far, as David Huff has done a nice job through 5 innings. And he's working with a 5-run lead as Santiago Casilla delivers to Luis Valbuena, who is 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs to second base. In the dirt. Foul tipped. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Valbuena shoots it back to stay alive. I remember back in 2007 when the Indians first saw Santiago Casilla. He was pitching in a ball game, and nobody really knew anything about him.
Josh Barfield.
And Josh Barfield was saying, I faced this guy before, but that wasn't his name. It wasn't Casilla. Valbuena with a ground ball single into center field, and he's aboard to start the home half of the 5th inning. Casilla had originally pitched under the name of Jairo Garcia, and then changed his name to Santiago Casilla.
Right. I remember Josh, gave him a little insight.
So it was Barfield who was able to give the hitters that night the little scouting report. Way up high, ball 1 to Ben Francisco, and that's going to send Kurt Suzuki out to the mound. Casilla has given up 2 hits. He's walked 1 in 1/3 of an inning of relief so far. Valbuena back easily. Bob Guerin did not give Trevor Cahill a quick hook tonight. I mean, he went as long as I think he could with him. Cahill just had one of those nights where he didn't have it. But when you look at Oakland this year in particular, they have averaged almost 3 relievers per game. That's the most in the American League. This is now 228 times they've gone to the bullpen in game number 78.
Well, when you're looking at the young starters that they have, that's what's going to happen. Those young starters are not going to go out and give you any distance. I mean, they get to that 100-pitch mark or, thereabouts, and they're going to be out of there. And you're going to have to go to them. And they have 3, a 20, 21, 2 21s and a 22-year-old are in the rotation. So you better have a good bullpen.
Francisco lifts one in the air, left center. Coming hard is Sweeney, and the center fielder dives, can't make the catch. Valbuena is able to get into second base. And a little bloop hit by Francisco. And the Indians have 2 on with nobody out to open the bottom of the 5th inning.
That ball was a big swing and can fool you, but it was off the end of the bat. You see, he took a couple of steps. He went east, and he's got to come in. Got to come south. Couldn't get him.
That's probably a really tough play for a center fielder.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The big swing fools you, and you see that ball go up, and you either freeze. He took a couple steps sideways before he started to come in on the ball, and he wasn't able to come in and catch it. But that's. I'm not saying he made a mistake. It fools you, and we're getting to that time of the night too. Within the sky is twilight time, right around 9 o'clock at this time.
Outside to Asdrubal Cabrera for ball 1. He had an RBI double his last time up. Ten balls, 10 strikes thrown by Santiago Casilla. Caught the outside corner, and it evens the count at 1-1. Casillas 1-1. Cabrera jolts one into right center field. Coming around third. Valbuena will score. Francisco, he's flying around third. He's coming home. No throw to the plate. It's another double for the Indians. Cabrera's second of the night. He's driven in 3 runs in the evening, and the Indians now lead it 10-3. And the happiest guy in Cleveland is Andy Thompson of Twinsburg, because he just won 2 tickets to an upcoming Cleveland Browns game. 3 doubles for the Tribe on the evening. And they have accounted for 5 runs.
Well, there's just a good swing on the baseball. A little two-seamer down and away, and Casilla did not provide any relief whatsoever. He scuffled tonight. 3 straight hits here in the 5th will do it for him. Bob Guerin going to that bullpen again.
A timeout here at Progressive Field. 10-3 Cleveland. Doubles. 2 by Cabrera, he's driven in 3. The other double by Shin-Soo Choo drove in 2. And the Indians, with 2 in, a runner at second and nobody out in the 5th, will now face their former teammate left-hander Craig Breslow, formerly of the Minnesota Twins before Oakland picked him up.
Former Indian Breslow for a short period of time.
3rd time through the order. The Indians 5 for 7 with 2 walks, 3 runs scored. Now the 4th time through after Cabrera led it off with the double. Now Sizemore, who has walked twice and singled, stolen a base and scored 2 runs. 9 of the Indians' last 11 hitters have all reached safely. This scoreboard update brought to you by Wendy's. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's. Now the 2-0. Down low.
4 for 9 today with runners in scoring position. Remember how they just weren't getting the opportunities? And all of a sudden, here it comes. Opportunities are there. It becomes contagious.
Just below the knees. A tight strike zone all night long. And the Indians taking advantage. That's the 3rd walk for Grady Sizemore.
Well, Sunday, as this homestand wraps up, it's another kids' fun day. All kids 14 and under will receive a Victor Martinez catcher's mitt. can also run the bases after the ball game, and it'll be our last game before the All-Star break as we head out on the road. Then July, a lean month. What do we have, 9 home games in the month of July?
Road Warriors. Here's Victor Martinez, 0 for 3 tonight. Rips it foul. Victor is the only Indian who has not reached safely so far this evening. In fact, he's the only one without a hit. The other 8 hitters all have at least 1 hit so far tonight. See if he can join the hit parade. Nobody out. 2 men aboard. And a check swing foul, 0-2. And that's the way it goes when you're in a slump.
That
and you're
sure
struggling.
does.
And Martinez, 0 for 3 tonight, and 1 for his last 19. And to take it a step further, 4 for his last 40. Boy, the game can be cruel sometimes. You think back to first couple of months of the year, Victor
couldn't get him out. 400 hitter for 2 months.
And to go 40 at bats with only 4 hits. You'd never thought that was possible the way he was swinging it earlier in the year.
Well, that's why earlier in the year, and everybody gets excited, when some guys get off to very good starts, they talk about a 400 hitter. Think about how tough it is. I mean, when you watch it day in and day out, it's like it's.
Well, you think about, we talk about Ichiro Suzuki and how he always, leads the league in hits and especially infield hits. And that's the one thing for a guy like Victor Martinez, he's never going to leg out an infield hit.
That's right.
And if you're going to hit 400, even though, a guy like Joe Mauer who won a batting title and runs better than Victor, but still not a speedster by any imagination.
Well, you're exactly right. You have to be able to run to hit 400.
Ichiro
has
thinking.
36 infield hits.
Thinking the only way possible, and I know you think that'll never happen. That's one of those marks that probably won't be broken.
I don't think it's going to happen. 400, that's... Matt, I mean, you're talking 162 games. I just don't see it happening.
Now the 2-2. Fouled away.
I'm not saying it can't. It's not possible. I don't see it happening in today's game.
You know what would be interesting? And there's no way to do it unless you would maybe try to do it with some type of a computer model. But if you go back to when Ted Williams did it, if you were able to somehow figure out how he would have fared against the specialized bullpens, how much more difficult would it have been for him? Facing that 7th inning, 8th inning matchup guys.
Then.
If he had to face the tough matchup left-handers late in games.
It doesn't matter. They'll just say, what tough left-handers? There weren't any.
Not for him, anyway.
And you know what? They're going to say the pitching was better back then because you had to throw the ball harder. It's just that you had an opportunity to see him more. You're going to see that the pitching's watered down in the major leagues now. There's a lot of guys. They come in, all they can face is a couple of guys. To me, they say, that's not a pitcher. That's a specialist. Okay, that's where the game is at.
For a guy like Williams, especially, as good as he was, you got to figure that without bullpens back then, or without especially the kind of specialized bullpens you have now, he was going to face a guy 4 times a game. And by that third or fourth time, he had a pretty good idea of how he was going to get his hit.
Probably walked a couple of times and then got another hit or two. His slump was 1 for 2.
The 2-2 pitch.
And as we said before, as amazing of a hitter as Ted Williams was, he never got 200 hits in a season.
Yeah.
Well, Ichiro, he gets 200. He's never gotten less than 200 when you think about it since he's come over to the States. And he's not hit 400. So you got to walk. You got to be able to run and get infield hits, and you got to be another great hitter. What a combination.
And you have to walk that fine line between patience and aggressive. 2-2. Hopped up. Foul ground. Should be playable. Garciaparra near the seats. Jumps up, makes the grab. That's out number one. Shin-Soo Choo having a big night for the Tribe coming up. He had an RBI hit with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Then in the 4th inning with 2 outs, he drove in a pair with a double. So Choo and Asdrubal Cabrera have each driven in 3 for the Indians, who lead it 10-3 here in the 6th.
Well, he needs one more RBI for 50. This being the halfway point, so this guy is Shin-Soo Choo's done a nice job.
Up high.
Well, this strike zone has changed, it seems, so much. It changes every half inning. If you don't get the low pitch, maybe I'll call a high pitch. It's been inconsistent back there tonight. Pitchers, I think, are wondering what's going on.
Choo with a high drive. Deep center field. Sweeney back. He's running out of room. It's out of here. Shin-Soo Choo with a 3-run homer. A towering shot that carried just beyond the center field fence. And it's a 13-3 Indians lead. Choo has driven in 6 runs on the night.
Boy, this is another Pepsi home run replay, and this one had some hang time to it. Is this a pitch up in the zone? Watch him, he gets tomahawks, it gets boom. Boy, what great extension. And that ball had carry. That's a high breaking ball. That one is not going to come back. Choo, what a night he's having. He hits his 11th home run. He has 6 ribbies. It is now 13-3.
Travis Hafner takes a first pitch strike. Choo drove in 4 runs twice in a ball game last year, but this is a career night. As Hafner looks at a breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-2. Closes the book on Santiago Casilla, by the way. 3 runs in a third of an inning. That'll hurt the old ERA. Hafner flares one into center field, and there's Sweeney to grab it for out number 2. Here's another look at tonight's Alltel text poll question of the game. Which International League All-Star from Columbus would you like to see in Cleveland? 1 for Andy Marte, 2 for Jordan Brown, 3 for Wyatt Torriegas. Torriegas a catcher, Brown and Marte infielders. Johnny Peralta looks at a ball down low. High pop, foul, back out of play. In the air to center, Sweeney. He'll make the catch, and the inning is over. But the Indians score 5 runs. The exclamation point, the 6th RBI of the night for Choo. Sixth inning, it's a 13-3 Indians lead. David Huff is giddy with excitement.
Well, every once in a while, you're out on the mound and your offense explodes. And it's a beautiful thing, but David's throwing the ball well tonight.
And you just want to go out there and throw strikes now. Kurt Suzuki is 2 for 2 with a single and a double and a run scored. I agree with you. I think he is probably the A's all-star representative this year. Oh, a check swing liner, and Huff snares it for out number 1. And when it's your night, it's your night. And it's all going right for David Huff.
That's sort of a check swing, but he had a good read on it. He saw it coming all the way. So not a tough play for David.
Nomar Garciaparra, 1 for 2 with an RBI double in the second inning. And he hammers this one deep left field. One hop off the fence. He's going to have to hold with a long single. Good throw by Ben Francisco. Garciaparra would have been a dead duck at second. His second hit of the night. And that'll bring up Jack Cust. Indians will shift 3 on the right side for Cust. And a first pitch strike to the outside corner. He wanted to offer at it, but able to hold up. Redbird lets us know, Rick, that the 13 runs scored by the Indians tonight equal what they scored in their last 5 games. Time was called before Huff was ready to deliver. That's hit hard, but right at the second baseman, Valbuena. 1 down. 2 down, excuse me. All right, let's check out our Northern Ohio Toyota dealers game recap. Travis Hafner's homer cut the A's lead in half early in the ball game. And then Shin-Soo Choo put the Indians in front big time. That 2-run double made it 7-3, and then his 3-run homer made it 13-3. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Indians with 3 in the third, 4 in the fourth, 5 in the fifth. Ryan Sweeney 0 for 2 looks at a ball outside, and the count 2-0. Fouled out of play off the facing of the second level of Sweets.
Huff's going to be throwing pitch number 97 in this ball game. Oakland pitchers have thrown a total of 139 to this point in 5 innings.
Ouch. Indians fans came tonight expecting fireworks after the ball game, and they've seen plenty of fireworks here during the game so far. 2-2. Chu on the run. He's not going to catch up to that one. Coming around into third is Garciaparra. He'll be held there. And A's at second and third with 2 down here in the 6th after Ryan Sweeney plugs the gap for his 10th double on the year.
5 doubles.
We're only giving away Browns tickets for Indians doubles.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they gave them away for every double, there'd be a lot. They'd be sold out every game on this homestand.
Only thing missing is the Doublemint twins. Bobby Crosby takes a strike on the inside corner. He is 0 for 2 tonight. In the dirt, Martinez with a good block. Right field, Chu will make the head high catch on the hard liner. And the inning is over. A's strand a pair. Middle of the 6th, 13-3 Cleveland. Of the Cleveland Browns, Brian Rubisky hanging out with Dan Tracy, catching the Indians tonight. Of course, Brian grew up in Chagrin Falls, went to Ohio State University, and now he'll be with the Cleveland Browns this year, and certainly excited for that. And speaking of the Browns, we've already given away 3 pairs of tickets thanks to 3 doubles by the Indians tonight. And you can log on to stohd.com and register for your chance to win a pair of Browns regular season tickets. Every time the Indians hit a double between now and July 11th, we're giving away 2 tickets to a Browns game. And, of course, single game Brown tickets go on sale July 11th at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. Russ Springer coming on now in relief of Craig Breslow. Nobody has fared well tonight throwing the ball for Oakland. They've also made changes in the field. Mark Ellis goes into the game at second base, and Adam Kennedy slides over to first. Nomar Garciaparra's night is over.
Springer he appeared in 70 games last year with the Cardinals. He had a team low 2.32 ERA. He's been around a long time, hasn't he?
Garco hits one high and foul and out of play. Well, this Oakland A's bullpen has done a good job, but as you pointed out, with all the work they've been getting, at what point do they start getting
July and August?
Arms?
Yeah, I mean, after the All-Star break, when you start getting your appearances, you have to wear it down after a while. That's the one thing I noticed when we were in interleague play, and for the Cubs, they had a pretty good bullpen, but they were the least used in the National League.
Matt Holliday collects the fly ball off the bat of Garco, 1 down. Time now for our All Care Dental and Dentures Smile and Easy Cam. It was cloudy and overcast here before the ball game during batting practice. Looks like all the clouds have moved out through the area. It's a cool night here in downtown Cleveland, but it's been a good one for the Tribe. With 17 locations across northeastern Ohio, All Care Dental and Dentures makes seeing the dentist easy. Luis Valbuena 1 for 3 on the night. He singled and scored in the 5th. Good breaking ball. Told you earlier, Oakland came into this game averaging 2.95 relievers per game. That's the most in the American League. And this is their 3rd different relief pitcher here tonight. Now that has been predicated upon the short outing by Trevor Cahill. But for Bob Guerin and Kurt Young, they have been using that bullpen frequently all season long. The 1-2 to Valbuena. Swung on and missed. 2 down.
Well, a Bud Light party deck out in right field is a great place to come watch a ball game. Starts at $40, includes an all-you-can-eat buffet with chicken, chip beef, and some great food out there. Fantastic view. You can move around, and if it happens to rain, it is certainly covered. Call 216-420-HITS for information.
Francisco watches a breaking ball dip low. Ben tonight reached on an error and scored in the 3rd, walked and scored in the 4th, singled and scored in the 5th. One ball, 1 strike. Base is empty, 2 down here in the 6th. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Russ Springer looks in. And his 1-2 delivery is fouled back. The only game this year in which the Indians have scored more runs than they have tonight was when they scored 22 early in the year in Yankee Stadium. And our young visitor here in the booth, Joe Sabick, pointed out the final score in that game was 22-4, and he did that without looking. I had to look it up.
Well, it goes to show you, your memory. You got a good memory, but it's just short.
This ball's hit hard, deep left field, climbing the wall and off the fence. Francisco rolling towards second base. Good throw from Holliday, but Francisco beats it in with a double. His 2nd hit of the night, 16th double on the year.
4 tickets.
Susan Kravantka from Macedonia, Ohio, is our latest winner. Congratulations, Susan. You've won 2 tickets, I should say, 1 pair of tickets to a Cleveland Browns game, thanks to the Ben Francisco double. Susan Kravantka from Macedonia, Ohio, our 4th winner of the night. Now is Drupal Cabrera, who has 2 doubles on the evening.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of red on my card tonight. But Chu has had the big night. This guy's had an outstanding night as well. A couple of doubles, 3 ribbies. You don't like the ball, just throw it out of play. Springer does that.
The 2-0 pitch. Way up high, and it's 3-0 with Grady Sizemore due up next. And it's ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Cabrera after the double by Francisco. And with 2 outs, Grady Sizemore will bat with 2 on. And Sizemore has singled and walked 3 times, scoring 3 runs.
Well, they're 3 for 6 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. They've scored 6 2-out runs tonight. So that's been a nice theme for the Tribe.
Grady hits a high fly ball slicing, and that's going to find the seats. Sizemore yanks one deep into the right field corner. Fair ball. Coming around third to score Francisco. Into third, Cabrera. He'll be held there. And Grady Sizemore has hit the 5th double of the night for Cleveland. It's now a 14-3 Indians lead as they tack on the extra point. And Kim Nazik of Cleveland Heights is our latest winner of a pair of Cleveland Browns tickets. Sizemore with his 2nd hit of the night.
Little breaking ball down out over the plate. Grady's able to pull. And boy, oh boy, they are turned on that double machine. 13 hits now. They also have received 7 walks in this ball game, and when the Tribe walks that many times, they seem to have big nights. I can see 4 of the walks have scored tonight.
Thinking maybe we should have started this doubles promotion earlier. Matt Holliday squeezes the fly ball off the bat of Victor Martinez, but the Indians score another run through 6. They lead Oakland 14-3. Offering simple solutions for all your natural gas needs. Visit directenergy.com/GoTribe for details. By AM, PM, too much good stuff. And by Windows, life without walls. (14-3), Cleveland over Oakland. Now we're going to get a look at Chris Perez for the second time in an Indians uniform. David Huff went 6 strong innings tonight, allowing 3 runs. Adam Kennedy looks at ball 1 down low. Kennedy 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. And he promptly singles into right center field. So Oakland gets their leadoff man aboard for Orlando Cabrera. At the knees for a called strike to Cabrera, whose 14-game hitting streak is on the line. He has twice grounded out, and last time up, grounded into a double play. Another ground ball. Cabrera had trouble with it, goes to first and gets the out there. He was thinking about getting a lead runner, but couldn't quite get the grip on it. Kennedy winds up at second. And Cabrera is 0 for 4 tonight.
Well, he was going to go for the lead runner. He couldn't get it out of his glove. He bobbled it. Oh, and he just lucky to hold on to it. But he does get the out at first.
And it brings up Matt Holliday 0 for 2. You know, we talked about the fact that Cabrera doesn't walk. He has not drawn a single walk in his 14-game hitting streak. And tonight, in his 4 at-bats, he's seen 7 pitches. He's been getting after it early in the count with nothing to show for it. Good breaking ball by Perez, and the count is 1-1. Chris Perez with the 1-1 up high. Chris Perez would just like to forget about his first outing.
Oh, I'm sure that's long forgotten. I mean, you get out there, he has an opportunity. Now, the sooner you can get him back out here, the better it is. He wants to go out there and perform and do a nice job. I mean, this is only the second time I've seen him pitch, and it seems like, you know, a lot of motion. He could be mechanically, looks like he could get out of whack and have the ball go in a lot of places. When he's on, he looks like he can be tough. I think the thing you're going to have to do is try and keep him consistent.
Two and two the count on Matt Holliday. Swung on and missed. He chased one that went up around his eyeballs. 2 down.
Now this one not even close. This is eye high. That was helmet high, and he gets him to chase after it. I don't know if Frank Howard would have been able to reach that one.
Maybe Shaq.
That might have been, yeah, about belt high to Shaq.
Giambi pops it up. Left field, Ben Francisco. He makes the catch. And the leadoff hit does no damage. Stretch time in Cleveland. It's 14-3 Indians. Stop by Panini's and enjoy the ball game. Plus, you can check out their pizza, wings, or one of their famous overstuffed sandwiches on the beautiful outdoor patios. Home of the best outdoor dining in town. Visit PaninisGrill.com. New pitcher coming on for Oakland. Be the fifth hurler of the night.
Michael Wirtz?
Yeah, Michael Wirtz coming on.
Michael Wirtz, 37th time. He's got 36 in a third innings, 41 strikeouts.
Also, Travis Buck has come into the ballgame to play left field.
I think the pitch for Wirtz, he's got a slider that seems to go straight down. It almost looks like a split finger pitch, but it's a slider. A lot like Edwin Jackson for Detroit, how his slider goes straight down. This guy's got one like that, which is an excellent one.
Shin-Soo Choo having a career night with 6 runs batted in.
Boy, there it is. See that pitch
that
right
was
there?
Wicked.
I'm telling you, 87, that ball goes straight down. That's a slider. Almost like it falls off a table.
Exactly. Foul tip. Suzuki couldn't hang on. Choo had an RBI single and scored in the third. He drove in a pair with a double and scored in the fourth, and then hit a 3-run homer in the fifth. That time he missed with that pitch inside. There's a drive deep right field. Choo has gone deep again. His 7th run batted in of the night. His 2nd homer. 15-3 Cleveland. Oh, what a night for Shin-Soo Choo.
You're exactly right. What a night is right. This is a career night. 11 total bases. He has 7 RBIs. He's 4 for 5. He scored 4 runs. I mean, what a great night. This is our Pepsi home run replay. You want that slider again. That stayed up, and Choo gave a little swinging room. And the crowd wants a little curtain call for Choo.
He has 49 runs batted in now on the year, and he's closing in on Chris James territory. There's the tip of the cap. Chris James has the Indians franchise record with 9 ribbies in a ball game. Now Hafner sends one sky high on the shallow right field. And the catch is made by Mark Ellis. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, he's got 53 runs batted in now for Shin-Soo Choo. Look at the box score for the Indians here.
They're having a hit parade. They have 14. Everybody but Victor. Team's leading hitter has one tonight. And the big night by Choo, and Cabrera has a nice night as well. A couple of doubles and 3 ribbies. What a night, huh?
53 ribbies for Choo, so he's on pace to have quite a year.
Well, that puts him 4 behind Victor now, who leads the team. And this is, after today's game, this is game number 81, which is halfway through the season. It's not the official All-Star break.
Well, that's the halfway point, though. May 4th, 1991, Chris James had that 9-ribby game in the blowout game against the Oakland A's.
Thank you very out there in Oakland. I remember it well. That's a long time ago. I think they ended up scoring 15 runs the next game too. They had a great series out there then. That's when they went out there. They could, they could do no wrong.
The 1-2 pitch. Peralta fouls it away. I'd love to know what happened to Chris James in the game after that.
We could find that out.
Because the Indians' record for ribbies in consecutive games is 11. Well, held by Earl Averill and Travis Hafner.
I think it's safe to say he didn't get a couple. He had 1.
2 for 5 with 1 ribby, they tell me.
I'll tell you what, the boys in the truck, they're quick.
Swung on and missed. Peralta couldn't help himself. And that is out number 2. Let's go back to the STO studios for a Ford Sports Update with Al Pawlowski.
All right, guys, here's one of the best hitters in baseball, Albert Pujols. Reds were ahead in this one 4-0. Well, the Cardinals tied up on this grand slam by Albert. His 31st home run of the season. That leads all of baseball. Cardinals now tied with the Reds. 8th inning. Back to you.
Thanks, Al. Ryan Garco looks at a strike. You know, Rick, also, Choo has also scored 49 runs now on the year. So in addition to driving him in, he's scored a ton.
Well, he's had a solid year, Matt, with everything he's done.
Weak bouncer to second. Ellis throws him out, and the inning is over. Indians add another run. Shin-Soo Choo having a huge night. Indians are 2.
transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
(15-3). The Indians have been beaten up, beaten down, beaten every which way but loose over the last couple of weeks. But tonight they're taking out some frustration with a 15-run performance. And now left-hander Rafael Perez coming on to get some work out of the Indians bullpen. Chris Perez worked a scoreless inning, allowing one hit, struck out one.
Well, the right Perez was first. Here comes the left-handed Perez. And let's check it out. We got Jimenez going into left field. So Sizemore will come out, and Ben will go over to center.
Oh, which means Chu will not have a shot.
Yeah, he's still out there.
He is? Where'd
yeah,
they move
he's
him?
in right.
No.
Jimenez is in left.
I got you. Francisco went to center.
Right. Chu is out there.
Gotcha.
Well, there's only going to be one more at bat, so they're going to have to get a few guys on before Chu can come up to the plate.
You never know, pal.
Oh, I know. You're absolutely right. The way it goes, I'd love to see him come up and get it.
Pitch inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, but the way he's going, he probably will get up again. That's what happens when you have nights like that.
Spend the day golfing with celebrities from the world of professional sports, Indians and MLB alumni at the Cleveland Indians Charity Celebrity Golf Classic, Monday, August 3rd at Quail Hollow. For all the details, call 216-420-HITS or visit Indians.com/golf. Mark Ellis gets his first at bat of the night. And looks at a ball down low. A 1-0 pitch. Hard bouncer between third and short. Peralta throws him out, 2 down.
Well, Progressive Field will transform into Cleveland's most unique restaurant with the return of Dinner on the Diamond. That'll be July 10th and the 25th. The evening includes delicious dinner on the warning track at Progressive Field, a chance to play catch in the outfield, and a souvenir Cleveland Indians wine bucket. Call 216-420-HITS or visit Indians.com to make your reservations today.
Up high for ball 1 to Jack Cust, who is 1 for 3 tonight. Bouncing ball to first. Ryan Garco smothers it, takes it himself. And the A's go quickly here in the 8th. 1, 2, 3. takes center stage after the ball game. That's some serious ammo right there.
They got the Michael Jackson tunes loaded for it, too. That looks dangerous, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Good thing they don't let you and I around that.
Oh, no, they don't let me around anything that has to be gentle. Be gentle with it. Bull gets in, he'll mess it up.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Luis Valbuena, Ben Francisco is Drupal Cabrera due up for the Tribe, and Edgar Gonzalez is the 6th Oakland pitcher to work tonight. Every Oakland pitcher has been touched up.
Yes, they have.
Trevor Cahill started, allowed 8. Casilla relieved him and gave up 3. Breslow relieved him, gave up 2. Springer and Wirtz have each allowed a run. And now Edgar Gonzalez.
Well, they're going to need a couple of base runners if you want to get Chu back up there.
That's a good point.
To add to his career night.
Outside 2-0. Speaking of career nights, Landon Powell behind the plate. Did you see that on July 1st, Jason Bay had a 5 strikeout game?
Did not.
I know that makes you feel good.
No, it doesn't.
Just so you're
makes
not
me
alone.
feel
Gives
equal.
you more company.
Makes me feel equal. But
do you realize that since 2000 alone, there have been 34 different occasions on which a player's had 5 strikeouts in a game?
That seems to be high.
Jeff Jenkins struck out 6 times in a game in June of 2004.
Wow. Well, 5 times in one game. What did he do the next night? That's what I want to know.
Well, I mean, you're in good company. Larry Doby, Jim Thome.
Told you, 2 Hall of Famers and a Hall of Shamer. I'm right there with him. But my name will be right next to him.
Valbuena yanks it foul down into the lower deck.
Doesn't matter how you get there. Just
get there, baby. Yeah, I thought the same thing. 34 times.
That seems high.
In basically a decade.
That's hard to do. Swing and miss that many times in one game. That really refutes your theory on Roberto Clemente. When you're in a slump, you keep swinging. If you get 4 at bats, you swing 3 times. You got to put it in play.
You're either going to get a hit or you're going to strike out a lot. 1 down here in the 8th as Valbuena flies out. It's tough to get 5 at bats in a game sometimes.
Yes, that's true.
And if you strike out the first 4 times, there may not be a 5th. Here's Ben Francisco. He scored 4 runs tonight. He lifts one in the air to center. That's going to drop. And Francisco has a 3-hit night.
He scored 4 runs as well, so he's touched home plate a few times tonight.
Let's get the results of tonight's All-Tel text poll question of the game. 40% want to see Andy Marte get the call up.
I saw him already.
Andy Marte's had a rough go in the big leagues, but he's obviously done well at AAA.
Well, but let him stay there and do really well.
There's a gap, obviously.
Yes, there is.
As Drupal Cabrera, a couple of hits tonight, 3 runs batted in, both of his hits doubles. 5 doubles on the night for the Indians. And he takes the first pitch strike. Hey, the inaugural Joe Thomas Celebrity Fishing Derby will be Saturday, July 18th from 9 a.m. to noon at the Westlake Rec Center. Kids 5 to 15 will learn how to fish with Joe Thomas, Darcy Egan, and some of their friends. Registration is free, and each kid will receive a free fishing rod and reel. Whoa. I don't think Edgar got the message the time had been called.
Well, when in doubt, throw it, man. I saw that the other day on a highlight where a pitcher, the batter stepped out, and the pitcher thought he stopped him, and it ended up turning into a balk. So when in doubt, he gave him time. He wasn't looking. That's all right. Just throw it.
The 0-1 is up high. By the way, registration is free for the Joe Thomas Celebrity Fishing Derby. Each kid will get a free fishing rod and reel, a tackle box, and a T-shirt. You can call 1-800-WILDLIFE to register.
Pretty cool.
Cabrera fouls it away. "15 runs on 15 hits for the Indians. Their biggest offensive explosion since the April affair in New York, when they pasted 22 runs on the Yankees. Out of play again. Swung out and missed. Threw it upstairs by him. 2 down. You think the Indians' offensive performance tonight is something. How about last Sunday in a California League game?
Oh,
the single A team of the Padres beat the single A team of the Mariners 33-18.
Wow.
The Padres single A club had 32 hits, hit 5 home runs.
Where was that game played? Do you know? Did it say?
Let's see. Does not say.
Okay, I was thinking somewhere out west it had to be smoking hot and that ball had to be flying.
In that game, James McOwen, who is with the Mariners A-ball club, had 2 hits, extending his hitting streak to 36 games, which broke the California League record.
Wow, I played in that California League, and that's 36 games. I don't care what league. If you play in the California Penal League, that's pretty good. 36 games.
Two down here in the 8th. And Grady Sizemore, who's had a great night with 2 hits, 3 walks, 3 runs scored, and a run batted in, sitting the rest of this one out. And why not? And, you know, that's something we talked about a little bit before.
The game? Yes, we did.
With Grady Sizemore over the years playing virtually every inning of every game. And he plays with 1 speed, all out. And so I think coming back from the injury, Eric Wedge is going to have to try and be a little more judicious in his use of Sizemore.
Why not? I mean, games like this, it should have done. It happened a long time ago, because you can only, when you play that way, it can only do one thing. It's going to burn you out. Everybody's human. You need a rest. You know, in blowouts one way or the other, it's good to get your regulars out there that are going to play there every day.
Chris Jimenez awaiting the 1-2 pitch. He went too far, so he strikes out to end the inning. And finally, for the first time since the first inning, the Indians are held scoreless in this game. check it out. The Indians Hall of Fame located out.
Shorts don't go with the lids, though. Got to get a little cowboy boots, son. Get those white socks off.
Oh, boy. Heritage Park located out beyond center field. And coming on to finish up tonight is Mike Gosling. The fourth Indians pitcher to work tonight. Chris Perez and Rafael Perez each with a scoreless inning of relief. Ryan Sweeney, Bobby Crosby, Adam Kennedy, the scheduled hitters. Breaking ball misses for ball one. I'd have to say it's a pretty good first night for our Browns ticket giveaway promotion.
Boy, you're not kidding.
5 pairs of tickets, thanks to 5 Indians doubles. And just a reminder, you can log on to stohd.com and register. This will go on through July 11th when the Indians single game tickets go on sale.
As soon as you mentioned it, tonight's our first night. Boy, then the double started flying.
Rained down on us. As Drupal Cabrera had a pair, Chu had one, Francisco and Sizemore each with a double. Hopefully they pick up where they left off tomorrow. .7:05 game time tomorrow night on Channel 3. Carl Pavano against Vinny Mazzaro. There's a liner toward right. Chu will play it on a bounce. And a leadoff single for Sweeney, his second hit tonight. Let's get a look at our Northern Ohio Buick Pontiac GMC performance of the game. Guess who?
Yeah, I don't think we have far to go. Just look to right field. What a night. 4 for 5, 2 dingers, 7 ribbies, career high with 7. It's just a great night by Chu. Puts him over the 50 RBI mark.
He's going to be tested here. Backing up, makes the easy catch. 1 down. And you'll want to stay tuned because we're attempting to secure Chu for his first ever appearance on our postgame show.
Let's hope so.
He's worked hard at his English. It's not perfect, but he's worked hard at it.
Well, he's been able to talk to, the print media, which when
Right.
you're one-on-one, and
Right.
it's a little easier for him. I think he's a little more intimidated when the camera's there. So hopefully we're going to keep it simple, keep it easy, and I want to find out, man. That guy's he's seeing the ball beautiful tonight.
That home run he hit, the first home run, the 3-runner in the 5th, was one of the most majestic homers we've seen in a while.
I like the double left field going the other way.
There's a line drive toward left field. Jimenez will play this on a bounce. And back-to-back hits. Rajah Davis with a base knock. Two on, 1 out. And Orlando Cabrera will have one more shot to extend his hitting streak.
I'll bet you he doesn't walk. I bet he'll be swinging a bat.
Tells you a little bit how Cabrera has struggled this year and that he's hit in 14 straight with a .345 average during his streak, and yet his season average still below .250.
Yeah, you can see that. And this guy is, he's been a good player.
1-1. His career high, a 15-game hitting streak, so he's one shy of that if he can get a base hit here tonight in his last plate appearance. Up high, 2-1. Most guys, at least publicly, say that they don't think about the streak whenever they have a streak going. Of course, it's always taboo to even ask a guy about a streak. He's going to fly out to center field. Sweeney will tag at second and move to third. 2 down. A's at the corners, and it looks like Cabrera's streak comes to an end tonight. After 14 games, he's 0 for 5. Travis Buck will get his first at bat of the night. Mike Gosling trying to close it out with 2 on and 1 out. Or 2 on and 2 out, excuse me. Ground ball to second. Valbuena throws him out, and the Indians win a blowout. 15-3, the final score here this evening. The Indians with 3 in the third, 4 in the fourth, 5 in the fifth to blow it open. And Shin-Soo Choo with a career night, 7 runs batted in with 2 home runs. 4 hits on the evening for Choo. And the Indians